Hi, here's another video installment from Becky. I am just going to record a super quick video while I create some gluten-free, egg-free, dairy-free power bars for Jack for before he goes to preschool. So let me show you the ingredients. Okay, so the first ingredient is 2/3 of a cup of crushed Chex cereal. You can use whatever kind you like. I just happen to have corn Chex hanging around. 1/3 of a cup of dairy replacement. I'm using dairy-free, non-dairy milk alternative. If you're not allergic to milk, you could use powdered milk or whatever your favorite powdered dairy replacement is. Now, the recipe calls for half a cup of chunky peanut butter, but we don't do chunky peanut butter here, and I thought I'd add a little snazz to it, so I'm going to do part creamy peanut butter and part Nutella, so it gets a little bit of that chocolate flavor to it. And then it calls lastly for 3 tablespoons of honey. Now I'm going to actually half this recipe because I'm running short on dairy free, and I want to make sure that I have enough to make it all stick together and not be too gloopy. So that's it. And when I post this video, I'll post a link to the recipe as well in case any of you guys want to try it at home. Okay, so I'm going to start measuring and I'll show you the mixing process. Okay, so I have everything measured in here now except the peanut butter. And you'll see I have the peanut butter measured here in my little Pampered Chef measuring cup. And I'm going to get ready to stick it in the bowl and mix it all up. I can't recommend this kind of measuring cup enough when you're measuring something like peanut butter, because basically what you do is you pull the pink part down to whatever the measurement is that you want. Oops, on this side. And then you fill it up, and then you just shove the pink part up, and all of it just kind of spits out and you can scrape out what's left. It's really good for peanut butter, honey, shortening, any of those things that are hard to get out of the crevices of your measuring cups. So there it all is in there before I stir. So I'll show it to you again after I stir. So this is what it looks like when it's all mixed together. And as you're mixing, you can play with the texture a little bit. You can, if it seems too wet, you can add more powdered milk or more cereal, or if it seems too dry, you could add more peanut butter or more honey. I had to add a little bit more peanut butter to mine to make it, you want it to form like a crumbly dough. So when you go to stick them together, that they'll actually stick together. And that's the step I'll show you next. So here I have the dough laid out on some wax paper on top of a cutting board. And I've portioned it out into 3 equal-sized portions. Remember, I cut the recipe in half, so the original recipe makes 6. I'm just going to make 3 because Jack hasn't tried them yet, and I want to make sure it's something he's going to like and want to eat. And then over here, all ready to go, I have 3 cut pieces of wax paper so that once I roll these out, I can roll them up in the wax paper to be stored. Now, I forgot to mention that if you are allergic to peanuts, you can always use almond butter or sun butter or one of your peanut butter alternatives in this recipe, and it'll work just the same. And I found that if you warm the peanut butter up a little bit, or if you live in Fresno and your peanut butter is already melted sitting in your cabinet, that works best. You don't want to use like a really thick, solid peanut butter because it makes it really super hard to mix. So I'm going to roll one of these out into a log and then wrap it up in the wax paper to show you. Okay, and there we go. That's what it looks like all rolled out and ready to roll up into the wax paper to be stored. You just want to roll them up so they keep their shape. And then you can store them in the freezer in an airtight container so that they don't get freezer burn. And now when you're rolling them out, keep in mind they kind of roll out like Play-Doh that's gotten too dry. They kind of crumble a little bit when you're rolling them out. But you can work on the shaping of them once you've got them inside the wax paper. And that way you can get some nice logs out of it. These are pretty long. I didn't expect them to be quite so big. But I really think they're going to be fun for Jack to eat, and I think he's going to enjoy them. So I'm going to move these over into the freezer, and as soon as I can, I will report back on how Jack likes them. Thanks for joining me, and if you decide to make this yourself, please feel free to leave me a comment, and leave a comment on the original recipe from I'm going to get the name of the blog, one moment, on the Adventures of a Gluten Free Mom. Awesome blog. I highly recommend it, and I'm going to link it with this video. Thanks. Bye.